Hi, I'm Orion, and the dust has settled on the IEM Rio Major, and now I guess it's time to ask ourselves, what did we learn from this? Firstly, Rio shouldn't host another major. In the playoff stage, the arena was empty for many of the games without Furia, and as a devout fan of CS myself, it was hard to watch, honestly. Now, I've been to arena esports events before, and biased crowds are never particularly fun. I went to ECS Season 7 finals where Furia was a real contender at the final, and I happened to sit right behind a bunch of Furia fans. Trust me, they definitely made themselves heard for better or for worse. Yeah, let's just say they were annoying to say the least. Anyway, coming back to the fact that Rio should not be the host of another major, the face of CS in Brazil, Gaules, was a big draw for the event. Despite being relatively unknown outside of Brazil, he's essentially a national celebrity there. He essentially is the de facto streamer for Brazilian Portuguese language major stream. It's known in the past his actions have led to pro players being harassed, all because they beat MIBR, which clearly not everyone knows they're not a great team. At one point he said things like, translated into English, "This is not CS, this is not a major, this is fucking Brazil," and things like, "They will never understand, this here is Brazil, tomorrow this is going to become hell." Anyone not Brazilian who knew what was being said would have been absolutely fucking terrified by that. Hell, even as I'm speaking months later and in the comfort of my own home in the UK, that'd be scary. I'd probably be scared for my life. At one point, one of the players for Na'Vi who were due to play against Furia in the playoff stage was spat at between maps. Now, I don't think it takes a genius to say that for people's safety, I just don't think another major should be hosted in Rio at all. Now, if you're liking this video so far, please be sure to click like. Secondly, I think it's unlikely that ESL will be hosting another major next year. After the Rio major, ESL announced all their events for the next year and none of them were major. Now, whilst it may in the future be announced that one of their current events is a major, I very much doubt that ESL's hosting another one next year. That being said, no one thought PGL were gonna host 2 majors in a row, but there we were, watching 2 PGL majors in a row, hating it. The only thing that could happen if they were to host a major would be if they start a whole other series of events, which at this point, it's doubtful. Plus, they're very committed to their contract with Intel. Like, in CS, every event outside of ESL Pro League is an Intel Extreme Masters event. Thirdly, I think the Asia and Oceania region needs more love, just generally by the scene. For the longest time, that region has been known for only turning up to majors and not doing too much, but as of late, teams haven't been coming last. They've at least gotten a shock win and been able to counter-strat their way into at least one win. Like for instance, at the Rio Major, IHC got their usual surprise win, this time against 0-0 Nation, knocking them out of the tournament, and Greyhound also got a shock win against Cloud9. For context, Cloud9 made it all the way to the playoffs, only to be knocked out by Mouse after an absolute stinker of a 3-map game. At this point, I think it's fair to give them more event invites. The Asian scene for the most part still seems to be cut off from the other parts of the scene, which I don't think helps the Asian scene at all. You know, for them to improve, they need to be playing against higher level people, and obviously with their lack of invites, they don't particularly get that. But then again, I am a dumbass UK CS fan. God, I love K. By the way, if you want to hear more about me loving K-Man and UK CS, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Lastly, at this point, we're at a time where all the teams are super competitive. Now, I don't think before the major we would predict Outsiders getting a LAN tournament win anytime soon, but somehow they ended up winning not only a LAN tournament, but a major. Now later on, we'll of course come to realise that may have been a fluke, as they absolutely bombed out of Blast World Finals, getting beaten by only Team Liquid and then tournament winners G2. The funny part of that is that G2 were nowhere to be seen at the major after bombing out of the RMR, and yet somehow managed to win a LAN tournament. I guess that the lack of expectations after the number times they've choked gave them a slight buff, weirdly. Now, if you have any comments on how you feel the competitiveness of the scene is, or lack thereof, if you want to argue, be sure to leave that in the comment section below. But that's it for this video. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe for more CSGO content. Also, if you want to hang out and play a few games with me, make sure to join my Discord in the description. I've been Orion, signing out.